Alright, got put piece here. Brain is creating thoughts. Talk about child molestation. How does a person or a child gets molested? The reason of this is because 5,000 years ago, when religion was organized by the Egyptians, life after death, everything was created by a sexual act, an act of masturbation, fellatio. The sexual organs were sacred. That would view the child as a sacred object, not as a sexual, as an object of a sexual act. Two different things. The church will mix these two things into one. Sexual, religious adoration of a child will be blended with sexual molestation. It's pedophilia. How does this occur that a child or young child is going to be molested? People with a healthy brain, in other words an atheist, will never do that. They don't molest children. Only people infected with religious psychosis will do that. Because the brain makes these people that believe in God and all this bring the child as from the gods. It's like they seem to be brought by the stork. The same idea, the same concept. And the twisted mind also related with sexual stimulation. Here we see adult God Luperci collecting the river of life, and here also Luperci. We are evolved mutated primates. We act on sexual maturity as animals. We don't molest children unless our brains are infected with religion, psychosis. In ancient times, as you can see here, every depiction of this sex, the sacred sex, the sacred is done by adults. People that can actually ejaculate, give the river of life and the maturity. Never children. That's a Christian invention. Check your history. One never finds pedophilia or abuse of children, like sexually, in ancient times. It came with Christianity in the 4th century, 4th or 5th century. That's when the whole thing started. Christian churches are filled with baby erotica, and when it doesn't take a genius to see that. You have circumcision, you have, and look at this idiot here with the boy in his hat. The true abuse of children, or children molestation, is the abuse of their minds and corrupting their minds with the garbage and retarded beliefs of Christianity and other religious dogmas. All the Abrahamic, that's true molestation of the children's mind, and it happens all the time at church and in schools, religious schools. They should be outlawed. These people are sick, immoral, and belong in a mental institution.
That with all due respect to the Pope, this is a health issue and not a religious issue.
Not a psychotic issue.
I would argue it's a morality issue.
Yes, there's no morality in Christianity.
The Pope will go to Angola, and what the Pope says matters in Africa with HIV/AIDS.
Yeah, look at that. Thanks to the piece of shit asshole there.
Catholicism is finding
Christians make nudity a sin.
As he's only 8 years, the rise of carefully tied to both of Sam's ankles.
The penis is sacred. That is the reason they adorn it and revere it.
Time has
Look at
come
this.
for Sam to show his bravery.
All cultures do that, except the,
I'm sure they're afraid of
very deluded people that don't realize it.
of divine snap.
Christ psychosis. Christianity corrupted Africa and practically all the world with their stupid, ridiculous nonsense, stagnated intellect, anti-science. In this case here, the boys, initiation. They decorate their penises and they make them like they are erect. Because that's, in ancient civilizations, sex was sacred. The retarded Christians turning into sin and all kind of distortions later on. This retard has no business in Africa. Belongs in a mental institution. Sacred sexual act was done by adults, never children.
The Pope's message, those programs stressed abstinence and monogamy while downplaying the role of condoms.
Idiots. Only Christians have sex with babies because of their neurological disorder. But in ancient times, babies were sacred, and sex was not done until they were sexually mature as a sacrament. Deluded, anti-science, lunatic, stuck in the Middle Ages, descendant of the god Iulius Caesar and Christ, the developer of Christianity, this retard, Benedictus XVI. Poor man. Let's put him in a mental institution. He belongs, along with all the Christian bishops and all these deluded idiots. They are this, they're stuck in the Middle Ages. In other words, they are retarded. This is the problem we have today. Thanks to them. And people ignorant, believing in all this garbage. Just read the Bible, the many versions. Read it completely. Completely. There is no morality in Christianity. It's the most immoral, despicable book ever. Full of garbage that belongs naturally in the Middle Ages. Naked children were venerated. As you can see, the sons of Venus, the life giver, they are given wings. And you see them in the Catholic Church adopted them. And they are called putti. Here they are. The sons of Venus are transformed into the angels of the Virgin Mary. In ancient civilizations, including in Greece and including here in Rome, children are venerated as gods. And they're never represented aroused. So there is no sexual object, like in present day, as pedophilia. It's all an invention of Christianity. Eros, the god of love and psyche, the mind, represented as children. And here is a genius representing as a child. And Harpocrates, also as a child. And here's a Cupid on a centaur. In ancient mythologies, the gods were not zapped into existence as older people. It never happened. The gods were viewed as babies also that grew up, and since ancient times. Subsequent distortions of the Christian religion, psychosis, in the following centuries after the collapse of the Roman Empire, mutated the act of venerating a child as a god, as an innocent god in heaven. They mutated into a molestation and sexual act. And that's what distorted the whole thing. They didn't understand it, the reality of it. 1700 years of baby Jesus and the little baby being worshipped and all that, immediately people start associating that with a turn on. And that is the reason in some cases the people get so involved into this religious, this Christ psychotics, they get so involved in it that actually they see a child, baby, they turn them on because of the hidden religious, Christian conditionings, and resulting in molesting the child and sometimes killing them. And that's the problem. And neurologists ought to know that and tell it like it is. Doesn't Andrea Yates ring a bell? That drowned her 5 children because she loved him and wanted to be in heaven? This Christ psychotic killed his wife and molested his children. The only way to cure pedophilia, segregation, intolerance, racism, and all that, and sexual abuse is by actually eliminating Christ psychosis, eliminating Christianity and other religious faith psychosis that belong in the Middle Ages, not in this 12th century, and creating tolerance. That's the reason. That's exactly the reason. Eliminating homophobia and all that. Eliminate Christianity. Put these people in mental institutions and actually teach them. There is no such thing as a God. We create everything with the brain. They should get educated. Come back to the 21st century. Crazy people do deluded, crazy acts. Sexual deviation is caused by sexual frustration. Believing in imaginary resurrected zombies is a symptomatic of schizophrenia. Affecting the brain, makes people do all that kind of crazy stuff. And religion is because of all the problems. This religious psychosis. Nobody seems to see. It's a disease, the neurological disorder that dares not to speak its name. in pace theorum.